I'm in my early 40s now.
Yeah.
I left when I was just about 40. I think a few that time. I came here to study, and the hope was, once I finish my MBA, just present this to them with my 15-year career. Come on, accept me. But of course, it wasn't that. I have a box, an email box dedicated for unfortunately, when I apply. Yeah, so that was a big shock to us, like, what's going on?
Okay.
When I joined Stanbic IBTC, then my intention was not to be a salesperson. I've never seen myself as a salesperson.
Interesting.
Like, how will I say it? What do I know? Yeah, so I was able to grow through the ranks because a lot of people believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. I've had a couple of low points in my life, especially in my career as well. It was a bit tough for me. At some point, I felt I couldn't do this. There was a point in my life at that time that I felt, you know what, I just need to quit. I wanted to leave, but for some, you just have to look for people to encourage you. Yes, you need to have people that will challenge you as well, but you need a lot of encouragement. You need people that can see beyond what you're seeing and say, Debo, you can do this thing.
You can do this.
A few weeks to me being 40 was when I left my family. And that I didn't jackpot, I relocated. And basically it's about trying to get a better life. Good one is quite obvious. You are going to another man's land, just like you mentioned it.
Yeah.
You are leaving your comfort zone. So
100%.
No matter how you prepare, you can't expect what you finally see is never what you have expected. There's always something like, oh wow, that's what they do for you. If you do the wrong stuff, yes, they may not catch you, but the day they finally catch you, there's no Abig, there's
nothing like that.
Mistake. It's my first time. If they curse you and say your life is going to be like the British weather, that is a big curse. They just, despite my experience, despite all that I've done, how come I can't get a good job here and all of that?
I'll try.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm going to try to serenade you with, or remind you of how we met. So at that time, 2013 December, I had just moved into a Waldorfing estate, and then I'm like, okay, this guy lives, opposite of my flat at the time. I'm like, who's this child? Who's this fine? Who's this dude? And then at the time, I was hoping that they were single, so we'll be rocking around town a little bit. And it's like, married, I already have a son or something like that. I'm like, okay. But of course, again, I remember that some Thursdays we would hang out at Ziggy's bar. We would hang out at a couple of bars around Amu, just kind of have fun. And you were like a sugar that had a lot of hands surrounding. You were like the center of attraction. You had I don't want to mention too many names right now, but you had a lot of people that used to flock around. Your house was like a mecca of some sort. People coming around to just relax, feel comfortable and stuff like that. Have you ever felt that people have taken your niceness for granted? Let's start from there.
Debo, well, we're humans. Yes, I think so, but just like every other person, we're humans, and I've taken people's kindness as well for granted.
Okay, that's a clever way.
So to answer your question directly, yes, a few people, even those that are really close to me, have taken I wouldn't say nicest, I've taken who I am, for granted. We take people for granted, but I know they don't mean it. Not all of them actually meant anything bad. They probably just assumed he's gonna do it anyway. So yeah.
Interesting. So, but what do you think is has contributed to you being, a little bit that for someone who would pass for a friendly and nice person? Would it be your background? Would it be your how you grew up? I know your family to a little extent. I know your brother, Dr. Kesinro. Again, it will lead me to a follow-up question. I would ask, how was growing up like for you? I know you're the last of, I think, 5 or 6 of 6 children. How was growing up like for you? And you being the last born child, did it have any psychological effect on you? Did you feel intimidated by elder siblings at any point, and how did it propel you to be the man that you are today?
Yeah. Like you said, I'm last in the family of six. I've got five elder ones, and the closest one to me is she's about 6.5 years older than me. So I'm a real bones, you know.
Of
Yeah.
course.
But yeah, I think to answer the first question about did my background also contribute to how I behave? Yes, to a very large extent. I've been fortunate to come from a family of very nice people. My father, my late dad, God bless his soul, was extremely nice. Yeah, it could be strict, but it was a very nice man. And
Mm,
my mom, oh,
super nice.
she's one in a million. Yeah. So I think we all got it from them, from my mom, from my dad.
Mm,
They were both fantastic. They've been fantastic people. And yeah, so me being the last as well. So I had a lot of example. I remember growing up then, my mom used to tell me, sure, Rawen, when can't you see your
mm,
elder ones?
mhm.
You know, that you should learn from them, learn from their mistakes, learn from the things they've done right, you know.
Super
So
nice.
I think that also helped me. Yeah, so my siblings, they've been awesome. They are lovely people.
Mm.
We're quite accommodating. My brother's accommodating.
I
Yeah,
can attest
so
to that. I know one of your brothers on the
you
personal note.
know.
I know is a nice guy, like
Yeah,
just a nice guy.
exactly. So I look up to them and
Mm-hmm.
they've been able to shape who I've become today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my background has actually helped me in defining the person that I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And you had a brief stint, or sorry, not a brief stint. You worked as a career person with, was it Standard Chartered Bank or Stanbic IBTC?
Yeah, I heard you say Standard Chartered. Everybody always mix it up, but it's fine. Even the Standard Chartered people and the Stanbic people understand. We don't get upset. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I work with a company called Stanbic IBTC, which is a subsidiary of Standard Bank Group. Standard Bank Group is a South African-owned company.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, I think second or the number one in terms of size, biggest bank in South Africa. Yeah, so it's an end-to-end financial institution. Yeah, so I work for a subsidiary in Nigeria, Stanbic IBTC. Yeah, so that's the company that I work
That you work
for
for.
about.
Yeah, and then you work there as like a pensions manager and all of that stuff
Yeah, that was part of my life in Stanbic.
in
Yeah.
Stanbic at the time.
So I grew through the ranks. I did a couple of things. I think I started as a sales guy in
Mm.
one of the subsidiaries as well, in the asset management part of the
Mm.
company.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're always selling investment products, you know.
Investment.
Yeah, so from there, I went to pension. I
Okay.
was in supply chain, then went back to asset management, worked in customer service,
Mm-hmm.
client services, as we called it then.
Okay.
Then I moved back to pension where I worked in the business development, basically sales and relationship management. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I did till I left. Of course, I got promoted along the way. I became a regional manager where I had people that were working with me.
Working with you.
Yeah. So that's where I worked for all my 14.5 years. Yeah.
Oh,
Before
incredible. Nice.
before the jackpot.
Before the jackpot trend. So before we get to the jackpot trend, I just wanted to
Yeah.
just kind of tickle back a little bit. Now, obviously, you worked 14 years with a prominent organization as big as Stanbic. What was the biggest challenge you had to grow your career from the sales guy to becoming a regional manager? What was the biggest challenge? One, and then secondly, what would you consider like your lowest point at the time?
Oh,
I can relate with your experience being a salesperson. I myself have done sales business development for a couple of years. So I just wanted to kind of find out how that happened. Yeah. Or what happened. Yeah.
yeah, great question, Debo. Yeah, so let me even tell you tell you an interesting story.
Okay.
When I joined Stanbic IBTC then, my intention was not to be a salesperson. I've never seen myself as a salesperson. I was like,
Interesting.
how will I say it? What do I know? In Nigeria, how will I be able to tell people, have I convinced myself before I want to
In
go?
the first place.
Yeah, but I was fortunate to work with some very fantastic people when I joined
Mm-hmm.
because the asset management part, the sales team at that time was just being built. So it was a good opportunity for me to grow. Yeah, so the team was just being created. So we made a lot, we grew with it. We made a lot of mistakes, and
Actually,
at
so
the
you guys
same
were like the
time,
pioneers of the department,
exactly,
right?
that's the word,
Mm,
we're pioneer. Yeah, so we're able to learn. So that helped me a lot to learn a couple of things. So when other people too started joining, I was able to, teach them and all of that. So it made me grow.
mm,
So yeah, and I think what also worked for me as was my personality as
of
well.
course. So you've got a people
Because
person,
yeah, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. Let's have fun.
100%.
Let's enjoy life. Not that I don't get serious. Of course, serious things
Of
demand
course, of
serious
course. The
things.
rise to the role of
But
a regional business manager is definitely very serious on career.
yeah. So I sort of enjoy what I do. And yeah, I was fortunate also. If you notice, I've been mentioning fortunate a lot
Mm,
because um most of it were not things that I planned. They were things
mm,
that just happened.
that happened.
And fortunately, yeah,
Mm,
people were there to support me.
mm.
Yeah, so I was able to grow through the ranks because a lot of people believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself.
Yes,
I had colleagues, I had senior colleagues that just feel, this guy, you're good at this thing, and I think you can do it, and
mhm,
that's how I just grew. And of course,
mm,
support from friends and family as well.
yeah,
So that's with regards to how I grew through the ranks. And in terms of my lowest point, I've had a couple of low points in my life, especially in my career as well.
mhm,
And yeah, like I mentioned, when I joined sales, it was tough for me because
mhm.
I just felt I can't sell things to people. I
And
need
you're
to
not
sell
serving services for that matter, not even
services.
actual goods. I completely understand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Serious matter. It was you not just selling pencil or selling something. I'm selling investment products. So you
exactly.
needed me to understand what I was selling
Of
to be
course.
able to convince someone that
Yeah. So pass
me
it up
and my
door.
company, yeah, will be able to invest your money and make money for you. And remember, this was a period when the stock market was doing
Was
very
crashing.
badly.
Was
There
doing
was a
was crashing.
global recession
Yeah.
at that
Mm,
time,
mm,
so it was tough, but at the same time, also helped me to grow. So that period, it was a bit tough for me. At some point, I felt I couldn't do this.
mm,
There was a point in my life at that time that I felt, you know what, I just need to quit. I wanted to leave, but for
mm,
some reason, and that's why I'll always be forever grateful to that company. For some reason, everybody just believed in me. Like, dude, you
mm.
can do this thing.
You
I'm
can
like,
make this happen.
what are these people saying in me? I said I can't do it. Is it by force?
But you guys
You
are
know,
like shaking
yeah,
it there.
yeah, yeah. So they gave me the opportunity to grow. They enabled me to go to another department at that time to be able to comb my skills and all of that. And
Mhm.
I came back to doing sales and selling that thing. So
That's
yeah, so that was part of my low points in terms of my career. And yeah.
incredible. I'm sure we've all had low points, and I think when everyone can relate to what you've said. But before I move to one of the questions that we want to talk about today, how do you
Hmm.
grow competence in a career, as a career path, or even as a person? Like you said, you had a down point. Of course, people believed in you, but it definitely took you some time to work on yourself to grow your competence again, and then grow your confidence, and then feel very comfortable to ace your numbers, meet your targets, and surpass them. How would you
Yeah.
tell your late 20s person, or someone who in their late 20s trying to pick up a career that you are currently in, to say these are the things you need to do to grow your competence around your skill sets, around your career, and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I think yeah, there are a couple of things I think people can pick up. It's apart from having the right people around you because it really matters.
Surrounding
And you could
yourself,
argue
right,
and
yeah, with
yes,
right set of
because you
people.
could argue again and say, what if there are no right people around? Then
Mm,
you find them. You just have to look for people to encourage you. Yes, you need to have people that will challenge you as well, but you need a lot of encouragement. You need people that can see beyond what you're seeing and
mm,
say, Debo, you can do this thing.
you can do stuff.
That really helps. Yes.
Mm,
And also another thing is to try as much as possible to just believe in yourself.
mhm,
And there's nothing like everybody, I believe, and I've read, about a couple of successful people. They've also had some time in their career that they just feel what I'm doing does not make any sense.
yeah,
Is it Steve Jobs? Is it name them?
of
They've
course.
all been through this.
Well being there,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think what has worked for me also is just focusing on those people telling you the right stuff, telling you you can do this, and not just telling you, showing you
the way.
presenting opportunities
More like
for you.
having mentors. Having mentors and
Mentors,
having
yeah, yeah.
people who
I
can
just didn't want to use that word mentor because the word mentor nowadays has been, people have
abuse.
overused it,
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't mean what it's meant to mean. But yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to
That would
say, to have a
pass.
mentor. And it doesn't have to be just one mentor. You can have a mentor for a particular thing. You
Yeah.
can have a mentor for, okay, how do I sell this thing? Or have a mentor for how to just live a happy life.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because you need to be happy to be able to do a lot of things. If you are not happy, everything will just look like a chore to you, like, why am I doing this thing? Yeah, so I think that's what has worked for me. I still have challenges as well. I still, till now, there are still doubts in me sometimes to say, can I do this thing? Can I do that? But I think that comes with every human being.
Of course, it does come with
Yeah,
everybody. We all have our
yeah,
doubts, we all
so
have our insecurities sometimes, but
yeah,
we have to work on them. We have to move, keep moving to make these things happen. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you for the summary. Now, you had a thriving career in Nigeria. You were doing pretty well. You rose through the ranks. You worked your I don't want to say butts off, but you worked hard to get to that position, spent 14 years, and then
Mhm.
one day out of the you just you slept and you woke up, and then you decided that, man, I can't do this anymore. You now carry after being able, I know where you lived, I'm in Lagos, and the apartment was really nice. You furnished it to taste, even the outside
Yeah.
environment and everything was really nice. And then you slept one night and you just packed your bags. Probably now went with maybe two hand luggages and two suitcases and abandoned everything you've known for maybe about 40 years and then proceeded to another man's land to go and start life all over again. That's what you guys call Japa, right? What what
Look who's talking.
what necessitated or what influenced that decision to abandon everything you've always known and just pick 23 kilogram baggages and move to another person's country and start on a reset? That's question one. And then question two
Hmm.
be, and on a more serious note, how has the journey been for you in the last couple of years? I think we moved out of the country pretty much around the same time. I'd like to know what's the journey been like, any regrets, and yeah, we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, great question, Debo. I was laughing because the way you were asking that question, I was just like, is it that me and this guy were not in the same
Are we on the same? Are we in the same
are
party,
we?
or are we?
Yeah, but whilst it's also fun, it's actually a very serious matter.
I guess.
So yeah, like you know very well, I lived I particularly lived in the same house for
Mm,
about 35 years of my life.
mm-hmm.
I'm in my early 40s now.
Yeah.
I left when I was just about 40. A few weeks to me being 40 was when I
Mm-hmm.
left with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself was a huge challenge to me. And the
100%.
decision was not a one-day decision,
Of
obviously,
course.
just like most people that are relocated.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I don't like using that word, Japan. I don't know why. For some reason, I hardly use it. I
I
think it's the
agree with
first time.
you. It's just because of the trendy
Yeah,
leave.
because Japan sounds
I
like I
don't
ran away.
exactly. I don't think I did.
I didn't jackpot. I relocated.
All right, let's bring it on. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite tough because not just that I was leaving my comfort zone, I was leaving somewhere that I've been used to, somewhere that I've seen people come and go, somewhere that has made my childhood. Somewhere that I got married. I saw my partner, I mean my wife, and I
Yeah.
got married to her,
Mm-hmm.
and we had kids in that same particular neighborhood. Now I just want to leave. And it wasn't a day decision. It was something that we've been talking about, and basically it's about trying to get a better life.
Mm-hmm.
Could we have gotten a better life in Nigeria? Absolutely, yes. we could have stayed and things will still get better. But I think because we feel we've conquered that terrain, we've lived there, we've achieved all we need to achieve, and perhaps we just need to change location and see how it's going to be.
Which is not a bad.
Yeah, so relocating for us wasn't that we were running away. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's a lot of challenges back home and all of that, but it's just that we're seeing trying to get something better to see perhaps if you relocate, and nobody has the full answer.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean that we relocated, that everything is perfect now. We're still learning. And I know we're going to get to that question
Mhm.
of how life has been since we relocated.
Mhm.
So to answer your question about what made
What
us
influenced the decision?
leave
Yeah.
was because we wanted a better life. We wanted to see life from where we've seen it. And we wanted to see if it was going to be better than where we've been. So that basically is my answer for why we relocated.
100% valid.
Yeah.
Same reasons for most people that I know, and for probably the speaker speaking here as well, would be some of the reasons that you said that influenced the decision to move. It's always about, okay,
Mhm.
let's try to see something else and all of that stuff. However, I think the journey does come with its pros and cons. What has been your experience? Let's talk about the cons first, or the pros first, whatever you like. Yes. They just what has been your
Yeah.
experience in a nutshell?
Yeah. So there are a lot of pros and cons in our relocation journey. Is it always good to start with okay, I'll start with the cons so
Okay.
that I'll
Yeah.
end it in a good
With
way.
it on the bright
The
side.
cons, yeah, the con is quite obvious. You are going to another man's land,
Mhm.
just like you mentioned it. You
Yeah.
are leaving your comfort zone. So
100%.
no matter how you prepare, you can't expect what you finally see is never what you have expected. There's always something like, oh wow, now so now they do for you, that kind of
Can you give a specific example around that? Just a little bit of an idea.
there's a lot now. There's a lot. You know how we do things back home in Nigeria. Not
Mm-hmm.
that we do things anyhow, but
But yeah,
you can
yeah,
always get away with so many things back home. It's
yeah,
my country
opportunities,
now.
of course.
No
Yeah.
be police. Yeah, I'll just talk to the police. Settle the matter. Once I call one or two people, everything will be
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
But here, things are done. It's not that they don't have their issues here as well, but here you know the repercussion for what you are. So anything you
End
are
of
doing, you
story.
just know that there's a repercussion for it. If
Of
you
course.
do the wrong stuff, yeah, they may not catch you, but the day they finally catch you, there's no abeg, sir.
Nothing
There's
like
a
that.
mistake. It's my
Yeah,
first time.
you would
The
definitely
assumption is that you've
face the
been doing it
consequences.
and been getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that one time you will be sanctioned appropriately, like you've been committing the crime. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a huge shock. Not that I'm a person of crime or that I'm always committing crime. It's just that some things that I
Very
needed
good
to quickly
caveat.
verify
Let's
that
switch
part.
that up.
Yes. Yeah, but it's just that, because back home we know that when we do some things, we can easily get away with it. So we may be a bit careless back home.
For
But
example,
here
go to a friend's place, they offer you alcohol, you drink,
you just drink and you drive.
and then you drive with
Right. Yeah.
confidence. I will get more money.
Yes.
Feeling on me, I will
Yes.
get.
No. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in this side of the world,
Yeah. And that's a perfect example,
yeah,
And when I first go here and I wasn't driving, and I think I went out with one of my friends here who's been staying there for a while. And we went to a party. I just noticed that he wasn't drinking. And this is someone I know is a Shayo master.
the
And I'm
down
like,
downer.
guy, let's drink. They just say, no, 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 that I should drink, that me, I should continue and all of that. And when we're going home, I was asking him that, dude, why did he say, I can't drink? And I said, but you're always in control. Even when you drink, you know what you do. He said, yes, but that's not the case. If you're stopped by the police will say that you are
Of course,
driving
yeah,
well.
come
They
through.
just say they've tested you and there's
And
alcohol
then,
in your
mm,
system.
mm,
And you start explaining. You can't even explain. Once they've found the alcohol in your system, uh, you know, points will be deducted from your license and all of that.
mm,
So that made me have a rethink, like, oh wow, now they do for you. So okay, no
mm.
problem. We just need to be a bit more careful.
Of course.
So that in itself was part of the shock,
Mm.
and of course the weather.
Uh,
Uh, the
story
UK
of
weather. I remember growing up then. because my folks actually had lived in the UK for a while
Oh,
when they were much
interesting.
younger.
Interesting.
Yeah, so before they came back to Nigeria. So when they're telling us some things, my mom used to tell us that time and say, if they curse you and say your life is going to be like the British weather, that is a big curse. So it just means that
Your
your
life
life
is
will never be stable.
unstable because there's nothing
Exactly.
as
Because
unstable as the British weather for sure.
yeah, because in the UK you could wake up, it's summer,
And then
next minute it's
it's
raining,
spring,
next second you might even see
it's
snow. I'm like,
fall,
what's
and then
going
it's
on here?
yeah, winter.
Yeah, so that really, really was a shock to me. And I'm not someone that really likes the cold weather. And that
Mhm.
is why I never considered Canada, because Canada is very cold.
True story.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
you guys, I mean, in the UK, you guys with degrees. I have a friend, or yeah, I have a friend, still a friend. He moved in,
Yeah.
about the time that we all moved out, and then he moved to the UK, and then 2 degrees. He would
Hmm.
read up on his status like, it's supposed to be, and I'm like, what's Gilon Shenny? Come here, come and see -20 somewhere. Are you playing? As in, no, no play.
I know, I
It's
know.
minus 15, -10 is like on a daily during winter, like steady. So like what's 2 and 3? Why are you making noise? Like I have a lot of people when they just get there, they always I'm like, you guys pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's part of it. And another con, another I wouldn't say disadvantage, another downside or shock was, of course, the job hunting. Job hunting was also
That
a
one
challenge.
for sure. Right, that
Yeah,
a little
not
bit
that till now that I'm where I want to be, but at least
worse.
I got something going on.
Yeah.
Because it was really challenging at that time. I came here to study, and
Mm,
the hope was, once I finish my MBA, just present this to them with my 15-year career. Come on, you'll
mhm.
accept me. But of course, it wasn't that. I have a box, an email box dedicated for unfortunately, when I apply, Yeah,
Interesting.
so that was a big shock to us, like,
Mm,
what's going on?
mm.
Despite my experience, despite all that I've done, how come I can't get a good job here and all of that? That was a huge shock. But of course, the more we stayed here, the more we applied, we realized, the technicalities of exactly what the employers here are looking for.
Mm.
We realized that we've got those things. It's just maybe the way we've been presenting it has not been showing that we've got those things. So of course, we needed to repackage our CVs. We needed to repackage how we speak,
Mhm,
how we say things. Some terms
mhm,
we use, we
mhm,
needed to stop using it.
mhm.
Basically, we needed to unlearn the things that we think we knew.
Yeah, things were
Yeah.
that were
So
working. Yeah.
yeah, so that also helped us. So at least gradually everything is getting better and we're
Just picking
getting
up a
used to the
little bit.
system. Yeah. So those are part of the well, I say negative so far, but I mean we're getting over those things.
Of course.
Then to the positives now, there's a
Mm.
lot of positive. The positives, number one, NEPA does not take light here.
Stroke, sliding tackle. All right.
Now,
Sliding tackle.
which is perfect. Back home,
Yeah.
even if you pay your bills and everything,
Doesn't
even
matter.
when you have prepaid meter in
Doesn't
Nigeria,
matter.
it doesn't assure you that there'll be
Doesn't
light.
matter. Like there might not be
But
like for
here,
years even.
exactly, things work. Things
Yeah.
work to a
System
very
works.
large extent.
System works.
Yeah, and then when things don't work, you have a reason for it not to work. People will tell you why it's not working.
Mm.
Unlike in Nigeria, that everybody just keep numb. People are accountable here.
100%.
So
About
that's a positive.
accountability, if I can just chip in one day, when it first came in, I just
Yeah.
huge vibration on my phone. And as I was hearing it on my phone, my wife was hearing it on her phone, and the other phone that was in the house, like I was wondering what's happening. And then I checked. It was an emergency. Someone was just kidnapped, or someone was being reported missing and all of that stuff. And I'm like, to your point. That's what I did do for you.
What they do for you?
Like, what I mean, really, and everybody in the province got the same text message. I
Text
was,
message.
I was,
Wow.
I was blown away. I was blown away. So, to your point, that works, and,
Yeah.
and
So that's
that's
part of
what
it.
I care.
A lot of things work here and people are accountable. Accountability is a huge difference between our society back home and here.
Mm,
And that accountability has helped a lot of things to be. It's not that things don't go wrong here.
Of course, they do.
Things go wrong here a
But the
lot. In fact,
system
I didn't know
works.
that a lot of things go wrong here, but it goes wrong, and people will explain to you why it went wrong,
It's gone
will
wrong.
apologize,
Mm,
will do what is needed. But
mm.
back home, things go wrong, and people will still be telling you,
And so
or they don't even talk.
they don't even care.
That's the difference. Yeah.
It's a crazy.
Politicians here, not all of them are not. We've got fraudulent politicians here as
Of
well.
course, of course.
But people will call their bluff and they
Mhm.
will explain. It's
Yes.
not back home like people,
Mhm.
get into office and
Do
show
whatever they
wealth.
like and show well.
Yeah.
It's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
We could
People in
spend
politics they don't show wealth.
several minutes talking about this specific issue already, but we don't
Yeah.
have so much time. So I want to switch
Okay.
up a little bit, and I know that you're definitely a career MC. You switched up. You decided to take a gig as an MC. What
Yeah.
influenced you to do that? Just in a few minutes, and then ask you one or two more questions, and then we'll call it a wrap.
All right. So what influenced me again? I'll go back to the organization I work for, Stanbic IBTC. I
Interesting.
had fantastic colleagues that just believed in me. They feel
Mm.
my personality. I should be able to do this thing. So from there, I was given events in the company to handle. And after then, people
Oh,
realized that you can do this thing. And
wow,
that's how it started.
that's
People
interesting.
started inviting me for their weddings. Yeah.
Oh,
And yeah, till I left, I was always the one doing most of the corporate events that we had in the
wow,
company at that time. And
that's
yeah, so
impressive.
that also helped me.
Yeah, how are you able
And I
to
enjoy it.
how are you able to grow your skills as an MC? I mean, talking about somebody who might be listening who wants to grow
Interested.
skills, how are you able to grow your skills over time? I think you've been doing that I know of at least for 5 or 6 years, if not even more. That you probably started doing it outside office, like you started making money out of it. What influenced, I
Yeah.
mean, how did you grow your skills around the year?
Okay, yeah. So basically, it's about believing in yourself, believe in yourself. And once you keep doing it, and I'll tell you this for free. Every event that I anchor, I still have cold feet. I still feel jittery.
Mm,
So, and it's normal. Can I do this thing? Can I do this
mm.
thing? Yeah. But the more you do it, the more you'll
How
be
you
able to
grow.
address those challenges.
Mm,
Yes.
mm,
And
mm.
because I enjoy it, that's also a major difference.
Yeah.
Some people may go into it and not enjoy it. So they'll see it as a job. I
Mm,
enjoy it. I've done events that I didn't collect a dime just
mm.
because I enjoy it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think that is also major.
It's
Enjoy it and ensure that you also look at people that have done it.
mm,
Watch videos. There are videos there. Watch videos of people. And it's not compulsory that you have to be funny.
mm.
Being an MC
It's
doesn't mean
yeah,
you're a
it is
comedian.
moderating
Yeah,
the
there's a
experience,
difference between being,
the
yeah,
thin line. Yeah, that's interesting.
absolutely.
That's interesting. Great stuff from Olak. We have a few
Yeah.
more minutes, so I would ask you one more.
Okay.
You were the anchor of Amuwo. Were you the major anchor, or you were one of the organizers of Amuwo Games?
Yeah.
What has been the situation of? I mean, what has been happening to Amuwo Games since you left? Is it still something that is happening, or it's something that is kind of dipped?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Amu Game is the brain work of a good friend of mine, a brother of mine called Shewa Yeni.
Okay.
And the first edition was something that we did together. He thought about it and he brought it to me to say, Bros, I know you can, this is what I have in mind. Of course, then I added a few things to it. And because he's a hard worker and he's a very intelligent guy.
Mm,
And of course, we started like it was a joke, and it blew to become something that was so big
mhm.
that even the Lagos State Sports Commission had to come in and say, wow, you guys are doing a lovely thing.
That's it.
Yeah, so it was his brain work, but of course, we did it collaboratively, and till now, it's ongoing.
Oh wow.
Even since I left, they've had two events after I left. They've had Amuwo Games and the Battle of the Sound. So those are the two things that we do. Amuwo Games and
More
Battle of the
games,
Sound.
battle of sound.
Yeah,
Battle of sound sounds to me like a music kind of competition, right?
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah. So
great.
we discover talents, and we've
Mm.
had a couple of talents that have come through that. Some have traveled abroad, some are doing their things now. And that's actually the essence of that, to
That,
ensure that we make use of this energy that all these youths in the neighborhood have. And
yeah.
it's been a huge success.
And it's very, I mean, important to, channel the energies of the youth into something very productive. I know that
Absolutely.
a lot of youths these days are, they indulge in a lot of vices, a lot of youths do drugs, a lot of youths,
Mm.
a lot of stuff, right? So having an avenue for people to come and showcase their talents, come and showcase their skills is definitely welcome anytime, any day. So just to keep people out of the streets or keep people idle, as they say.
Yes, yes, yes,
The
absolutely.
devil's, how did they say that stuff again? And I don't mind is the
I do mind. It's a devil's workshop.
exactly,
Absolutely. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. That
Incredible,
was the reason we did it.
incredible stuff. Any last parting gifts from you?
Yeah, is to just commend you for this stuff you've started. I see
Thank you.
this thing going a very long way. Well
Thank you.
done, because
Thank
we
you.
need it. I've thought
Thank
of something like this as well,
thank you.
but I'm happy that you started it,
Thank
and
you.
I'll continue to collaborate in any way
Thank
I
you.
can. I'll
Thank you.
push it as well. Yeah, we need it. There's a
Thank
lot of people in the diaspora
you.
that need to hear from fellow people that have left as well, and also to
Exactly.
keep in touch with what's happening at home.
E-
Yeah, so
Exactly.
this is fantastic. Well
Exactly.
done.
Thank you very much, Kunle, for
Yeah.
supporting this program. You're technically
Yeah.
the second person that I'm having a recording with. I'm going to jump
Great.
on in a couple of minutes, but that's how we keep growing.
Okay.
Take a couple of minutes. I mean, a
Yeah.
few times for me to start putting up the videos out there, but thank you for supporting the program. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, Debo.
My warm
Thanks,
regards to your wife and
everyone.
kids and
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah. Okay. Thank you
All
so
right.
much
Regards to yours too.
as well.
Thanks.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Like we
Cheers.
say here, thank you, mate.
Exactly. Thank you, mate. And yeah, we say
Thank you,
thank you,
mate.
buddy. Cheers,
Oh,
buddy.
thank you, buddy. All
Cheers, buddy.
right. Cheers.
Bye bye now. Bye bye.